No, it's wild. I like started the stream and immediately OBS crashed. Good morning, 199. Good morning, Singularity Abyss. Good morning, Gun Highs. How are you? Good morning, Artwork Studios. Good to see you guys. Hopefully OBS cooperates. Hopefully it doesn't crash again. OBS crash made sense. Yeah, literally, I fired it up and it said, "Oh no," and then it crashed. But just actually, I have to say, I can't really knock OBS because I haven't really had any technical issues with it like that. I have had issues with it like disconnecting and reconnecting a lot recently, but I think that might have more to do with um, I think that might have more to do with my internet and not so much OBS. Maybe I'm not really sure. But good morning. Good to see you all. Okay, we got 2 of you here this morning. Nice, nice. Alright, we're gonna eat our customary orange, and then we're gonna dive into some Go, which I think where we left off with Go was we actually have to deal with a binary tree. I think if I remember right. Tour of Go. Yeah, we're almost to the end of this actually. We're on binary tree. So we actually only have 3 more lessons here. We learn about syncing, or I guess synchronization across Go routines, and then we have to build a web crawler. But we're here. We're here today. This is where we're at. We'll see. We'll see how long it takes Steven to crash out over the docs like yesterday. Speaking of OBS, I just recorded a video that was like 4 hours long, split between 2 videos. It was literally just a recording of my online classes. Nice. Yeah, OBS is a very handy piece of software, and what's crazy about it is it's free and open source for people to use. And you can modify and extend it. It's pretty crazy when you think about what software you have available to you on your personal computer that like I mean in 2011 when I was in school in 2011 the idea like I was in a sports broadcasting class at my school, but like the idea that you could broadcast basically like have your own TV show and broadcast it on the internet like in 2011 even was like kind of a crazy idea. I know people were like doing it. I think Twitch when did Justin TV launch? 2007? Let's see. 2007? Yeah, so we've been 4 years into that. Yeah. Justin TV moved its gaming section to a new site called Twitch TV in June 2011. Yeah, so when I was a senior in high school, or I mean 2007 would have been I was a freshman in high school. Yeah, this idea that you could just like fire up a piece of software on your computer and have your own sports broadcast, like that's crazy. Is OBS old? I actually don't know. Let's look. OBS initial release date August 2012. Right? It didn't exist when I graduated high school. That's crazy. I mean, I remember how cool it was. We had a broadcast journalism program at my high school. So we had this really cool control room with all the broadcast journalism stuff with the control panels and the sound and the big old studio cameras. And we actually had a channel on our cable station called Jet 14. And we made like different TV shows as part of our classwork and put it on that channel. Let me see if I can find it. Jet HD Joplin. Let's see, we'll go to the oldest videos. Let's see. Oh, this right here, this is my brother. This right here. So this would have been in 2012. So this would have been the year after I graduated high school. But this was the name of our show, Sports Talk Around the Clock. And this right here, this is my little brother. Let's see. And this guy right here, all three of these guys I played football with in high school. They were all 2 years younger than me. But this class was so much fun. But the idea that you could recreate this nowadays just from your living room, you know, with like your phone and some software you could run on your laptop is pretty wild. OBS is basically my brother. Oh, because you were born just a month prior? Yeah. It's wild. Morning, Arvin. Good to see you, man. Imagine that channel blew up. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they... I think they use it a lot for, like, streaming sporting events now. I don't know how much they do with television programming. I mean, they have 4,000 subs. Yeah, it looks like they do a little bit of stuff with TV production. This was the Hall of Fame. They do like a Hall of Fame every year where like graduates of the high school get inducted into the Hall of Fame. Looks like they do it for weekly, kind of like weekly news reports. Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool that a high school makes that available to their students, right? Like, you can get a taste of what broadcast journalism is in 2025. Although I would argue probably broadcast journalism is less relevant in 2025. Arvin, it's midday the other side of the world. I know time zones are weird, man. It's real fuckery. How do you deal with, oh shit, I forgot this part of the learning process? Sometimes I feel like monkey see, monkey do. I think you have to embrace the fact that there's just too much information in the world for you to keep it all in your head at the same time. You know, even when I worked in the emergency room with doctors, you know, I mean, talking to them about how do they keep all that information in their head? How do they think about like being able to do a differential diagnosis on a patient, right? And they were all always very honest with me, and just this whole idea that, you know, you have to develop pattern recognition, that there's no way you can hold every piece of medical knowledge in your head. You know, they would say you kind of triage it. You know, you remember the most important things, the things you deal with the most often. You develop good pattern recognition, and then you rely on other people. That's why there's all these specialties in medicine, right? That's why you have neurologists and pediatric neurologists, and everything continues to go deeper and deeper into specialty because there's too much knowledge to hold in your head. So I think you have to embrace that a little bit, and then I think you have to kind of pick your specialty. What's the thing you want to do or work with every day? And that's really going to be the information, the knowledge that sticks with you the most. It doesn't mean you can't recall or look up or go and figure out something that you've learned previously. It's just not realistic to be a walking encyclopedia. I mean, maybe for some people, but for the average person, that's a realistic expectation. Been on OMAD since yesterday? What's OMAD? Did I get into the Hall of Fame? No. I probably will not get into the Hall of Fame at my high school. That's for people like one of the last people inducted has won Grammys. So yeah, it's like you gotta do something notable. And I don't think streaming programming from your basement counts as notable. What's up, Ben John? How are you? Good to see you, man. Well, you're in our Hall of Fame, right, guy? Well, thanks for making me feel better about myself, Artwork Studios. All right, shall we take a run at trying to implement this walk? So basically what we have to do is we have to walk a tree, right? And it's a binary tree. So we have to walk the left side, then go back up and walk the right side. And we basically need to get all the values. And then we need to figure out if given two trees, if both those trees contain the same values. Yeah, does they just have to all contain the same values? So let's I guess let's add some function bodies to these function calls, and then let's just return true to start with, and let's return I don't actually think this needs to return anything. I think this just needs to send values to the channel. It probably needs to close the channel too, right? It probably need to close the channel. And then I think we should just try to, I think first we should do, what we should do is we should just try to get each of the tree values and print them, send them to the channel and then print them. I think is the first thing we should try to do. Let me move this up a little bit so it's in the center. One meal a day, a type of intermittent fasting. Ah, yes, okay. I've never heard it abbreviated that way, but how's it going? Do you like the intermittent fasting approach? I wrote a research paper my sophomore year of college on intermittent fasting. And I did as part of that work, I did basically an 8-16, right? So 8-hour feeding window, 16-hour fast, and then I did a 4-hour feeding window and a 20-hour fast. And I thought I thought it was interesting. I think in a lot of cases, if you work where your schedule's kind of full, intermittent fasting is actually super easy to execute on, right? Because you're sleeping for 8, and then if you fill the first part of your day with work and stuff, it's pretty easy to just wait till 2 o'clock to have your first meal, especially if you allow yourself to drink water and coffee. Let's see. 2, do non-trivial projects until you get good at it. 1, get good at, hold on, sorry, I missed Arvin's. What's up, Gun? Good to see you, man. If you 1, get good at fundamentals, read books, reference docs. 2, do non-trivial projects until you get good at it. Yeah, but I think there's always gonna, the thing is though, I think there's always gonna be gaps in your knowledge, right? If you're chasing a gapless level of knowledge, like you're always gonna be chasing, right? Because there's always stuff you don't know about or aren't aware of or aren't keeping up with, right? And by focusing on one thing, you're sort of deliberately making the choice not to focus on another. And so you just can't expect yourself to know everything about everything. You have to be willing to be a student at times, right? Or go back and recall information or reference things when you need to. I don't think I'm probably 50 times healthier than you, Artwork Studios, given our age gap. I see it probably something like what the Muslims do in my country. They can eat from the early morning till night, like 7 p.m. They usually do that during a special occasion. Yeah, isn't that called Ramadan? Yeah, a lot of the intermittent fasting research is actually done around Ramadan. Um, Ramadan, yeah, yeah. Like here you go. The first NIH article is looking at the Ramadan period for intermittent fasting. There's most of the like a ton of the research papers, right, that aren't, because it's super expensive to do like a metabolic ward study where you force people to stay in a place and perform a specific diet. That's super it's super expensive to execute on, but the data is the most sound. Um, and relying on people's self-reported diet is notoriously difficult and poor data. So I think they use Ramadan because people have a motivation to stick to an adherence beyond just doing it for scientific purposes. That's kind of interesting. Arvin, I have been skipping breakfast nearly half my life. I was almost already doing intermittent fasting with knowing. Yeah, I wonder how many people are actually doing that. Intermittent fasting is closest thing we have to the elixir of eternal youth. Well, I don't know about that. That's a pretty big claim. I think there is research that shows intermittent fasting can be beneficial and improve certain health markers, but I don't necessarily think it's an elixir of eternal youth, though. Or I don't think it's even close to that, as you said. What's up, Stefan? Stefan's one of our one of our longest YouTube members. I think Stefan's one of the only people that's been a member for a month now. Good to see you, Stefan. And Stefan's been around since it was just me and like a couple people. Good to see you, man. DESM diet is great. What is DESM diet? Oh, you're taking a computer architecture class? That sounds fun. Illustrious YouTube. That's right, illustrious, man. There's only 100. I forgot to check. I probably should have checked. There's only 100 people on planet Earth. Let me see. Oh, there's 102 people. So we actually lost a person, but there's 102 people that can claim to that thing. Actually, I did hear back from YouTube support. They sent me a message yesterday that said you can only have access to the members endpoint in our API if you have a YouTube partner representative. So I guess I'm not big enough to get I guess I'm not a large enough creator to justify having access. Which is kind of silly. I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of silly to gatekeep programmatic access to a particular. I mean, it's like one of the only endpoints I think where they do that. I'm not really sure. Not really sure what the thinking is there, but maybe one day I'll be able to programmatically retrieve my members' information. That's when I'll know I've really made it on YouTube. I was gonna update my list of members since I've lost one. Let's see. We do terminal. We go to here. We can go to Notepad. Huh. That's weird. Why doesn't that work? It's like my shift key doesn't work on my computer. Or my keyboard, sorry. CD, OneDrive, desktop, members. Did I delete it? Gosh dang it, Steven. Excuse me. Sorry, this is taking much longer than I anticipated it taking. Alright. CD members monitor. I'm gonna do .NET index.cs. All right, there we go. We're back in business. All right, let's walk a tree, yeah? Let's walk the tree. Oh, you came upon channels. Hell yeah. Yeah, concurrencies. Yeah, we're doing the concurrency topic in Tour of Go is what we're working on right now, Stefan. Don't eat so much. Oh, that's a good diet, Gun. Yeah. I'm on the DESM diet. It's pretty high tech. It's pretty scientific. I'm really excited for it. I just started going through a book made by GNU about CPU architecture, and now I realize I got this class. Very cool. Yeah, are you still, Stefan, are you still thinking that you want to do like embedded system stuff? Norsec GTG Linux? No, I'm on Windows. Yeah, Windows. Our work studio said Windows using NeoVim using C#, and Norsec said, damn, sounds hard. Norsec, I'm learning ethical hacking, but I don't got any time. Super busy plus homework. Life of a student, man. Life of a student. You making a game? No, I'm not making a game. I'm actually I'm actually trying to learn Go at the moment, so I'm going through the Tour of Go docs. That's what I'm doing. All right, let's we need to be able to print. We need to be able to print some print debug. I think as we're writing this thing. I know I probably should be able to walk a binary tree with my eyes closed, but I don't know. I guess I'm not a real programmer. Okay, so first thing we'll need is we'll need a channel, and we're gonna make that channel receive int. So we need a type of chan int, and then what we'll do is we'll use our new founded Go routine functionality, and we'll say Go walk, and then we'll pass it a tree. And I don't remember, how do you tree.new. Tree.new, and then we'll pass it our channel like this. And I don't think this is going to do anything right now. I think this was going to crash. Undefined format. Oh, yeah. It is undefined. I'm kind of ready to get out of this browser-based environment, to be completely honest with you. Let's see, run. Okay, string literal not terminated. What? Yes. You're right again, compiler. All right, so you printed testing walk, and then we just exited. Is C# different from C++? Yes, it is. Yep, those are different languages. I don't know. I don't got a job yet. I just know that I like it. Good. Yeah, I don't more mean like a job. I just meant, is that still a field you want to pursue? If so, man, keep doing it. Lost 55 pounds in 2.5 months by just having soup for lunch. Well, congratulations, Wayfaring. That's awesome, dude. You know how hard it is to lose weight for people? That's one of the hardest lifestyle things to achieve. So you should feel really, really proud of yourself. It doesn't sound dumb at all either. You should just be super proud of your accomplishment. DSBM diet? I love these diets. DSBM diet. Don't snack between meals. The personal trainer in me wants to patent and start marketing these diets. Steven, so untrue about time. I got all the time in this world to do whatever I want. I just choose to spend my time on things I like, which happens to be same as my classes. Well, that's wonderful. I mean, that's that whole idea of right? If you can find ikigai or ikiga, I don't know how to say this word. This is a Japanese word, right? If you can find this, that's what you're looking for, right? When you can find alignment between, the thing you love, the thing you kind of feel called to do, the thing you get paid to do, right? So I'm glad you found that. What's up, Wilo Gamer Pro? Good to see you. The aura of Linus Torvalds must be through the roof. Why do you say that, Norsik? Norsik, Apple and Microsoft have so big headquarters, but he just made it in his room. Oh, you mean like in general? Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen Linus talk in interviews? Yeah, he definitely has an ego. That's 100% for sure. He has an ego. I mean, I think you kind of do. I mean, to sit down and be like, I'm going to build an operating system for myself, by myself. Yeah, there's got to be a little bit of ego in the room with you. If you don't know them, which I assume you don't. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. Ikigai, you rehearsed that. I didn't rehearse it, but I have tried to say it before. And I have no idea if I'm saying it right. Good to see you, Sam. I hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Let's see. Snacking between meals literally gave my cousin fatty liver. Yeah. I mean, snacking will get you. Snacking gets me. Snacking gets me. You just don't realize how many calories, how quickly several bites of a small thing add up, right? Calories are just so pernicious and sneaky that way, where it takes an hour on the treadmill to burn 300 calories, and you can literally consume 300 calories in 4 mini Hershey bars. It's unbelievable. Linus told NVIDIA to fuck off. What an ego. By the way, what's your favorite flavor of Linux? I really don't use Linux much as a daily driver. The only version of Linux that I use regularly is Ubuntu, and I use the server distribution a lot on private servers essentially to host things. But that's about as much as I use Linux on a daily basis. I don't really use any type of GUI environment. myself. I've heard good things about Omarchi. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about this thing. It seems to be kind of eating the Linux desktop world at the moment. So I'd like to try this at some point. I think this is based on Arch, if I remember right. Excuse me. All right, shall we begin trying to walk the tree? I'm gonna do this. I know a lot of people would probably walk a tree recursively. I do not like recursion though, so I think I'm gonna do this the non-recursive way. Um, Steven Linus didn't make an OS. He made a kernel. Big difference. But still, don't you feel like you have to have kind of an ego to sit down and be like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna build my own kernel. Right? I still think there's a little bit of an ego in those decisions. Or maybe it's not even ego. Maybe it's just ignorance or arrogance. I don't know. But he definitely has an ego. I mean, if you've seen him in interviews, he doesn't give a fuck what other people think. He believes what he believes, and some of the shit he says, and the way he stands by some of the way he treats other people. Uh, I mean, obviously a smart man, but me and him probably wouldn't work well together. EDL, bro, Go is used for YouTube's backend. Two sources: Google Cloud Blog, how YouTube scales. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Well, we're trying to figure out how to learn Go, so. Even if you snack, you can still make a Sora video. Shows others you work out. Yeah. Yeah, I just did that the other day. I posted my Sora workout video. Let's see, Steven, it's not only about increasing calories consumed, it's the continuous injecting of blood with sugar that makes snacking bad. You have to give your liver a rest. I think that's fair, but when it comes to weight management, the thing that matters the most is calories in versus calories out. Um, if you try to argue that point with me, it will go nowhere. The literature is very clear on this. Is calories in versus calories out. This is what determines your weight. Not really. There's a lot of people who did that. Also, it's not like you wrote it from scratch. It's based on Unix. Oh, so building a kernel is not that big of a deal? Stefan, are you saying? Hold on. I don't think you're trying to say this, Stefan, but it's coming across like you're saying what Linus did wasn't a big deal. Coffee and programming go so well together. I always see a programmer with at least a cup of coffee everywhere. Yeah, I mean caffeine. Yeah, any kind of caffeine. I feel like it doesn't necessarily have to be coffee. It could be an energy drink. It could be tea. You know, it could be you know uh, Diet Coke. You know, like caffeine drink of your choice, but definitely something that helps you over fixate, hyper fixate on whatever problem you're trying to solve. Good luck. Thanks, Norsik. We'll see how far we get here. Um, so normally the way I would do this in JavaScript is I would use an array, and I would treat the array like a stack. How do you create a stack in Go, right? I'm guessing Go doesn't have like a built-in stack class. Go stack class. I'm guessing you have to just use an array, right? Like in JavaScript, you just. Oh yeah. So you can make your own type of stack, I guess. But this is just gonna push. How do you pop? You're just gonna get the last element. Okay. All right. This is kind of annoying though, right? If you have to I can't believe Go doesn't have a built-in. So every time somebody wants to use a stack, they have to recreate their own stack. And this seems very onerous. Like you can't just pop, you have to do all this. Fair enough. Okay. So, I mean, I guess that's the whole Go philosophy, right? Is keep things simple. Okay, so we'll have a var stack, and this will be of type tree. This will be a slice, or I guess a pointer to a slice, or a slice of pointers of the tree type is what I'm saying here. And then I want a current. I want to keep track of whatever the current node, I guess you call it, the current node we are in the tree, which will be the top, very top. So we'll have we'll just the current wall we start with whatever we're given here is what that'll start with. What the fuck was that? Nice username. He said, "Oh, pointers, I hate them." Yeah, pointers are weird. You don't really have to think about pointers much in C# or TypeScript. So thinking about pointers and learning about pointers is kind of a newer thing to me. Is Golang have any ORM like Entity Framework Core? I actually don't know. Let's see. ORM Golang. Oh yeah, it looks like it. GORM. I've not used them before though, so I'm just brand new to Go. You know, I haven't made it through the docs yet. Kajani's here. I'm gonna get a tuned 2006 Audi A4. Nice, dude. Sounds like a cool car. Be safe driving it. That's what I care the most about. I'm not saying it wasn't a big achievement. I'm a Linux user at the end of the day. I'm just emphasizing how it was never used. It was never just about the kernel with Linux, but the community also. Norsec, a community of sweaty. I use Arch, by the way, people. Yeah, I use Arch, by the way. Sorry, guys. I fell behind on the chat here. Kyle says, "Hello, Stephen. I'm currently learning React. I'm making a small front-end project. Do you have any tips or advice for me for learning React?" Well, I haven't written much React in the last 9 months, but I understand that React's gone through some pretty big changes. Like they have a compiler now that will optimize your code. So some of the things that I might think about when it comes to React may not even be relevant anymore. Now that obviously now that there's the compiler. What's some good advice about React? Yeah, I don't have anything. I just haven't written much React recently, Kyle. I wish I had more. I wish I had more. I wish I had more top of mind to share. I think React's a good library though, and a good way to build front ends. It's a lot of fun to work with. Stefan, look at my messages. Oh, sorry, yeah. In saying Linus made an operating system is just not true. There's much more to an operating system than a kernel, which the community he built ended up making. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, totally fair enough. I get your point, man. See you, Stefan. Have fun in computer architecture. Norsec, I just saw a BMW when I was coming from school. I was recognizing it when I was walking towards it, and I saw the logo, and I was shocked. How rare are Euro cars there? I don't know. Or at least here, Euro cars aren't terribly rare. I see a lot of BMWs. I see a lot of Mercedes where I live. Quite a few Audis. Wilo Gamer Pro, what do you think is the average age of your viewers? Well, I mean, YouTube will tell me. I can look in YouTube Studio. I think the average or the largest segment of my viewership is of similar age to me. I think it's like 24 to 35. Let me look. Uh, there's like a demographics. Um, yeah, audience. Yeah, age and gender. So, at least for I can look at my lives. 93.4% of my live viewership is male. 43.4% of my live 25 and 34. 20% of my viewership is 35 to 44. And 24 of my viewership is 18 to 24. So the vast majority of the people who ever watch a stream, I don't know how many of them come back and watch more than one, but the vast majority of people who do are somewhere between 18 and 44 years old. I want to move to North America when I'm older. Nice. Yeah. Well, come on over, it can get a little crazy here sometimes, but you know, for the most part, I think everybody's here is pretty welcoming of immigration. I know the news makes it seem otherwise, but can you show the demographics on screen? I think so. I honestly don't know. I probably should. I mean, yeah, here. Let me just take a screenshot. I'm always afraid of like showing studio because I'm not sure what all is in there that I should or shouldn't. I mean, this is pretty anonymized data though. This is just looking at very. Let me take a screenshot real quick. Demo. Desktop. Why can't I see my mouse all of a sudden? Here's what this is, and this is for the last 28 days. I should also say that's probably important. So here's the last 28 days. So like you can see like the vast majority of people are male, and the vast majority of people fall in this age segment. Which is what I would expect. I mean, given the type of content I make, given the fact that I'm also a man, and given the fact that I'm 32, right? Like you tend to see yourself in the creators of those you follow or those you interact with. Like it's just more relatable and interesting. So I would guess for most people their demographics look very similar to their own gender and age. And then obviously like programming, I think programming is still pretty heavily skews male in a lot of cases. Hello, the Cur. How are you? Good to see you. Vanilla's here. Hello, Vanilla. I'd like to come visit Finland, is what I'd like to come do. I've never been to the like northern European countries, and I'd like to visit. Gunhigh, so you got charts about where does people actually watch? You mean like Gun? Do you mean like in certain countries, or do you mean devices? Because they give both. They give both device type and they give top geographies. So it looks like from a device perspective, overall 77% of my viewership comes on, or my watch time comes on mobile phones, and for my lives it's 80% comes on mobile devices. For geography, the vast majority of my viewership comes from the United States, India, Germany, the United Kingdom, and Canada. Which I would not have guessed. India is up there at 9% viewership. I would not have guessed I would be popular in the Indian community, but apparently My my content seems to have found its way over there. We got some negative 32 degrees Celsius days. Oh my goodness. Okay, I will still come though. I will still visit, even if it's super cold. Yeah, like certain countries. Yeah, certain countries. Yeah, so I think I mentioned that, but it looks like the top five for me are United States, India, Germany, United Kingdom, and Canada. Those are the five top countries of where viewers tune in from. How many Malaysian? Let me see if they even list that. I just see the top five in my dashboard. Let me see if they list all the countries. Yeah, they do list all the countries. It looks like only 0.3% of views come from Malaysia. But you're one of them, man, and that's the only thing that matters. You know? I mean, people always get, it's funny because people get pretty hung up on viewership when it comes to YouTube. Like, like people will look at 34 concurrent viewers, which is what I'm showing I have right now, and people will be like, well, that's really small. That's really small time stream. But if you really think about it, I mean, imagine being in a room with 34 other people, like, right? Like, or imagine giving a presentation in person to 34 people. 34 people's quite a lot of people in the grand scheme of things. When in Finland, make sure to take the ferry to Estonia. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to visit. Wasn't I don't know much about Estonia, but wasn't Estonia the country that had it had a big like 10 years ago or so, they got hacked? Oh wow, it wasn't 10 years ago, it was 12 years ago. Yeah, this is like not that I'm trying to make you relive bad memories, but I don't know a lot about Estonia, but I remember this about Estonia. That they had some really bad cyber attacks. I'm from Poland originally, so I was wondering if that might pop up. Oh, Poland's on there, I think. I saw Poland. Yeah, let me see. Let's see. Poland. Yeah, Poland is at 2.1%. And this is all based in the last 28 days. Almost all these numbers that I've been reading off, this is the last 28 days. Anybody from Nepal? Yeah, it's a niche. That seems niche, but let me see. Man, you guys are just having me. You guys are making me do like more investigation into my analytics than I've done in the history of my YouTube channel. It looks like it doesn't fall at least in the top 50. They show the top 50 in the website, but you have to export. If you want more than the top 50, you have to export it. So if there are people from, what was it, Nepal? They're not. It's a very small number. What about Iran? Man, you. Let's see. Iran. Or sorry, Iran. I apologize. I know you've corrected me on that before. My dumb American tongue always wants to say the wrong thing. Iran. They're not on the list, or at least not in the top 50. I'm surprised I have people that are. First of all, I'm surprised people are here to begin with. So like, I'm incredibly thankful that you're here, and then second of all, the fact that there's people here from like places that aren't Kansas. In the United States is wild. So thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it, guys. 2.1% of your viewers. That's probably the percent of my weight. You think you're contributing all those views? The country got hacked and saying, yeah, they're well, I don't know if it was like the country, but like a large some piece of something got hacked. I think it wasn't it an accounting software, if I'm remembering right, the Kerr? It was I think it was a piece of accounting software. Let me see. Or was that am I remembering something else? I might remembering something else that happened in Eastern Europe. Cyber attack, accounting software. Yeah, but we can block them for now. Oh, that was in Ukraine. That was in Ukraine that happened. Then that was more recent. That was like in the last 12 years. The Estonia thing was well, the Estonia thing was 18 years? Wow. The Estonia one was 18 years ago. I said 12 years ago. It was 18 years ago. But yeah, the Ukraine one was somebody breached an accounting software that was used by everyone. I'm not sure what the source of the Estonia hack was. See you, Norsik. Have a good day, man. Have fun doing your homework. Study hard. I appreciate you, Gunhighs. Wilo Gamer Pro. Is that Einstein in the background? Yes. This is a picture. This is a picture of how do I point to it? This is a picture of Einstein. Yeah. I also have a big painting of Einstein up in my living room. That's pretty cool. It's like a big canvas painting. You learn a lot getting hacked nowadays. Most gov is e-based. It's nice. Yeah, see, that's actually an interesting, like, probably an interesting positive side effect of that event, right? The Kerr is like you said, like the country's a crazy IT country now. Like I'm sure you guys have a bunch of very highly skilled tech workers there because everyone, it's like top of mind, right? Everywhere. Vanilla. I like your short videos because they open my eyes to things I haven't thought about. Well, I appreciate it. I I just try to be me on stream, and then I've just been taking clips from the stream and sharing them. And so I'm not sure if I have much unique to say or interesting to say, but it is what I want to say. If people fuck with it, you know, that's awesome. I think there was at least 5 people across all streams talk about the Einstein. Yeah, that's actually like the 3rd or 4th person that's asked about that picture. I eventually want to get them hung on the walls. Like I have this picture over here, and then this thing down here. This is actually something I'm super proud of. This is one sec. It opened my eyes too. I was like, Steven, please don't die from benching. Yeah. No, if I ever do a weight that like I'm very nervous about, like if I haven't maxed in probably 5 years, but if I ever lift weights and I'm sketched out about being able to do that weight, I would 100% get a spotter. But yeah, anyways, my plan is to hang up all this stuff behind me, but this one is the one I'm probably the most proud of. This is like a bunch of awards I got while playing football in high school. Which is kind of silly, I know, because people are like, man, you still are proud of your high school football accomplishments. But I am. Like, I put a lot of time and effort. I put a lot of time and effort into that, you know? And so those awards represent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. You know what I mean? All right. Should we probably try to write some code? Estonia is the birthplace of e-residency, Skype, Wise, Bolt, Playtech, Digital ID, Disco Elysium, Click and Grow. Wow, I did not know that. That's wild. Hey, dude, I was still proud of my final year in primary school. It makes me keep pushing forward. Yeah, I think it's good to be proud of the stuff, you know, you've done, right? Especially if you worked hard. Like, who cares, you know, how cliche it is. Okay, so I think the first thing I need to do is I need to say if current does not equal nil, right? So current will eventually become nil whenever we've reached the end of one side or the other of the tree. So while we have a current, we need to add the current to our stack. And it looks like the way you do that, right? So this would be in JavaScript, this would be a push operation. And in Go, we actually have to reassign. So we have to say stack equals append. And then we want to append to the stack the current, right? And I'm gonna explain this because you guys probably already know this if you're writing Go, but this is just for me so that I remember. But the reason you have to reassign whenever you append is that if append can add the current item to this stack, right? So if the size of the underlying array that's backing the slice here, the slice that makes up the stack, it will just add the current to that underlying array. However, if adding the current to the existing stacks or the existing slices array, if it will exceed the capacity of the underlying array, it will actually create a new one, right? So that would mean in that case, if you didn't reassign, if you just appended, you could end up in a situation where this stack refers to a different array, this slice, I should say, this slice refers to points to a different underlying array than the one append just created. So that's why whenever you do this operation, you almost always assign. Which is kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of feels like an oopsie daisy you could stub your toe on really easily. See, Wilo Gamer Pro, have fun with your homework, man. Study hard. Like the last year, my results improved. I won first place in the tug of war competition, won the Good English Award. Man, you're killing it. You're killing it. Sebs W, thanks for subscribing. You're the first one of the day, man. Appreciate you. Wow, we got 2 in a row. Blang Cons. Nice username. Thanks for subbing. I appreciate it. Yeah, dude. Our Studios, you're crushing, man. You're crushing. All right. So the other thing is, because this is a binary tree, right? Because it's a binary tree, we want to walk on the left, right? So if we start here as a current, we want to then go left, right? And we basically want to go all the way left until there's nothing left. Then we want to go right. Yeah, then we want to go right. So, back over here, whenever we're looping, we need to reassign current to current.left. Yeah, right? I guess I don't actually know what the structure of this tree is. Does it even have a left field? Does it have a left and right field? Go tree.tree. Yeah, tree package. Type node. I want type tree. So what fields exist on the tree type? How do you find that in the Go docs? Does it have a left? I'll just search for left. I guess not. What fields exist on the tree type in Go? There is no single built-in tree type in Go's standard library. What? So where does it come from? Oh, they created it. Whoopsies. I should read. Oh, so it does. It says it has a left, which is a pointer to another tree, a right, which is a pointer to another tree, and then it has the actual value of that thing you're on. Okay, so it does have a left. So current.left. And I think at this point, all we're doing is we're basically just going down the left side of a tree. That's all we're doing. I would like to print this and see what's happening. Format.println current. Run. It's not printing anything. I feel like it should be printing something. Oh, is it because... Oh, let's try this. Is this how you do it? Channel current? Is that how you send to the channel? Like this? Cannot use current as int value in send. Why not? What have I done wrong? Channel is int. Oh, because it's current.value, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And then down here we should be able to for v range, range over channel, and then here we should be able to print it, right? Print line value like this. One, two. Nice. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Now we just have to figure out. I think I need another loop. Now we have to figure out how to. What do we have to do now? I guess now we have to. So we're building up a stack, right? We're processing the tree. We're building up a stack. So now we have to actually take an item off the stack. So instead of doing this, what we want to do is we want to take whatever the top item is on the stack, right? Or whatever the top item is. Well, not whatever the top item is. I guess whatever the last item we added to the stack. We want to take that off the stack. And how do we do that? We have to do create a new slice, and we have to do kind of a little bit of work, don't we? To do that. Learning Go for fun, also wanting to build something more specific with it later. So we're learning Go primarily to do admin of code, which I realize now I probably should have pinned a message about that. So there's this activity I do every year during December called Advent of Code, which is basically, it's like Christmas themed leak code problems, basically, is the best way to put it. And the last 2 years I've done it in C#, and this year I want to do it in Go. So this is kind of my general learning plan. At some point, we'll probably do some projects. I don't really have any ideas for projects quite yet, but the main thing is I want to have fun doing advent of code. Riley, my favorite language is definitely C#, but if I could only ever write one language again for the rest of my life, it would be TypeScript, because I like doing web development, and so TypeScript kind of gives me everything I need to build really kick-ass web apps, right? Because I can use it on the back end, and then I can use it all on the front end. And I guess if you told me, well, you can't do any type of compile or build step, then I would just pick JavaScript. JavaScript's always going to have a leg up in the web development world because it is the language of the browser, right? It is the native thing built into the client. It's difficult to fight against that. You know what I mean? I've only ever done raw.js and some Electron. Should I swap to TypeScript? I don't think it's necessary to swipe to TypeScript, Riley. I think, what do I think? I think I would probably encourage you to give it a try at some point, because I think TypeScript gives you a really, really, really fun development environment, right? Because of the static typing, there are things that your tools can do with that information that it's difficult to do without it. Obviously, there's things like JS docs now that help, but yeah, I in my opinion, if you're going to write a lot of JS doc, you might as well write TypeScript, unless you're going to do what the team over there at 37 Signals is doing, and you don't have any sort of build step for your front end, and you literally just ship JavaScript to the browser. Well, then probably just stick with JS doc. But if you're already using a bundler, like if your project already uses Vite, if your project already uses Vite or something like that, I feel like, yeah, you should just go ahead and use TypeScript, because the developer experience is just superb. Is it just me, or do you guys think that people on LinkedIn are faking it too much? Oh yeah, but that's not just in LinkedIn, Arvin. That's in real life. You know what I mean? Like it's not LinkedIn. Like that's real life. I mean, I was just last night. I was at a thing called Site Council, which is something that my son's school district does. So it's basically like this meeting where they have parents and community members and members of the school district kind of come together for a meeting, like an informational meeting where the school district shares information about things the school is working on, or programs, or progress, just lots of things. But like, inevitably in that environment, you would find yourself talking to a lot of other adults, a lot of other professionals, and I'll tell you, everyone is just blowing smoke up each other's ass. Like that is the adult world. It's a bunch of the adult world is a bunch of kids who never grew up, but are all trying to pretend as if they did. Riley, dope. Yeah, give TypeScript a try, man. I think you'll like it. You definitely don't have to do it though. You know, if you like vanilla JS, roll it, man. Reading the about sections of my people's LinkedIn makes me ick. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the world we've built for ourselves, you know, and so it's the game we've been placed in, and we sort of have to play it, right? All right, so we have, okay, so what are we doing? We're putting things on the stack. Now we need to take things off. So we need to get the length of the stack, right? Because we want to figure out, if we want to get the last item in the stack, then we need to find out how long the stack is, so that we can get the last index. So we'll say in equals length of stack, like this. And then we can get the current, right? So we'll reassign current here. and we'll say current equals stack at n minus 1, I think is what we want. Or actually, let's call that. Let's not call this n. N's a bad name here. Let's call last index. So let's do let's do length minus 1, and we'll do last index, and then we'll say we're gonna reassign stack again, but this time we basically want everything up to. So I think Go doesn't Go have. I think I learned about this, but I can't remember. Go slice operator. What do they call it? Did I make that up? Slices support a slice operator with the syntax slice low and high. Up to but not including. So we want everything but the last item, which means we would say an empty begin, which basically means take everything from the beginning to n, but not including n. Whoops. I keep hitting my microphone. I apologize. So now we have our stack. And so now, or we have the last item that we pushed into the stack. And so now we should be able to say, okay, channel, we're going to send to the channel the current dot value. Also, does anybody think that this should be flipped? Why does this feel like it reads backwards? Channel send to current dot value. I feel like it should be this. Current dot value send to channel. That's what this, I feel like it should be this. But maybe, obviously I'm wrong. Obviously I'm wrong. Let's see. Riley says it's just what I started with in terms of web dev, so you know it ain't, if it ain't broke. Of course, Riley. Yeah, do what you want to do, man. You know, it's not even being confident or marketing themselves. They are writing shit that even a 5-year systems architecture combined cannot achieve. Yeah, I mean, I think people just blow smoke, Arvin. I mean, the world is a lot of marketing and hype. Like, look at what's going on with AI right now. Does this count as vibe coding? I'm a developer, and even I don't understand what people mean by this. Does this count as vibe coding? What do you mean, does this count as vibe coding? AI, ML, Kafka, Cassandra, blockchain. Yeah. Well, Arvin, I think it's funny. Do you know how many people change their titles and their bios to have something to do with being an AI engineer or AI first? Or, I mean, people are just responding to the market. They're just playing the game. Creatives, man, I feel so relaxed watching you code for some reason. Plus, you're a very chill guy. Well, I'm glad, man. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, Creatives. I hope you're having a good day, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, it does feel backwards. I really don't like Go syntax. I think right now, Gun, I'm on the fence. It's like I'm okay with it. There are things that I find clunky, but I'm getting through it. See you, Artwork Studios. Have a good day, man. Riley, what you are currently doing? Oh, I don't think you would call this vibe coding, because like vibe coding is like using AI to say like, hey, implement the walk function for me. I'm actually trying to implement it myself based on what I know about Go, which at the moment is not much. I've written like less than 1,000 lines of Go at this point. But this, I mean, walking a binary tree though is something I've done before, both in JavaScript and in C#. So the general approach is kind of the same. You can do it recursively, but I'm not a very big fan of recursion, so I usually use a stack like this to do it. So it's like once you know how to implement an algorithm like this, it's just about how do I translate that algorithm to whatever language I'm in, right? So it's not terribly difficult. It's difficult the first time you have to do it, but then once, I mean, algorithms exist for a reason, right? Somebody way smarter than me figured out what the best way is to walk a binary tree, and I just learned how to implement their algorithm, and now I can do it in languages, right? So it's like breadth first search, depth first search, all these algorithms that you learn when you're going through like DSA courses. We're not inventing them, right? It's like you're just sort of learning the steps and then how to translate that into whatever language you're working in. Honestly, the only code I want to go learn is expression in Gary's mod. I'm not familiar with that, Caleb. But yeah, I guess I never finished Riley's question. I wouldn't call this vibe coding. I would just call this learning Go. What Gunn said. I'm just learning how to write Go. Can you explain the for loop? Oh, so all I'm basically trying to do is so if we go back to the picture they had, I'm basically just going down the left side of the tree. So I'm saying, okay, as long as we have a node on the left, we're going to take that node and we're going to put it into a list, right? So you can kind of think, if we look at the for loop, you can kind of imagine this is 3 to start with, right? And then all we're doing is we're taking the current and we're putting it into this empty list, and then we proceed to the next left node, right? So we're just basically building up that stack. So if I was to draw this in a picture, it would look something like this. We have an empty list, right? And I know I'm not using the right Go parlance, but we have an empty list. The first iteration of the loop, we're going to put 3 in there, right? Then the next iteration of the loop, we're going to put 1 in there. Then the next iteration of the loop, we're going to put the other 1 in there. And then when we try to go left again, we're going to have nothing here, right? So now there's nothing. So then we come down to the next portion of our code, right? So now we have 3, 1, 1, I think, based on that picture they showed us. And then all we're doing now is we're just popping off of the stack, right? So we're taking the first item in the stack and we're sending that in the channel. Now this isn't incredibly helpful at the moment, right? Because like, well, why are you building up the stack only to just take the last item? Why not just, well, that's because we're going to have an outer loop to handle going right? But we still want to use the stack in the outer loop. So basically, we're going to take all this right here, and we're going to stick this inside another for loop, right? So we'll say we're going to do one more reassignment where we say current equals current dot right. Then we're going to take all of this that I just wrote here, and we're going to have to put this inside another loop. So I don't know if this is as performant as doing it recursively, but I feel like it's easier to follow this way. So what we'll do is we'll say we'll need another loop. I'm not 100% certain what I want those conditions to be, but we'll put all this inside there. I think I basically just need to loop. I just need to perform this as long as we have a current. Yeah, so we're getting on the left, and then we'll switch over, we'll do all the right. So we're essentially coming down the left side of the tree, then we'll go to the right side and successfully continue to process each branch. But up here, we need some sort of condition to terminate on. So I think we want current does not equal nil. right? Because if current is nil, then yeah, we've definitely reached the end. But we still need current down here, because if current is nil, we don't want to loop, but we also may want to loop if the length of the stack is greater than 0. Meaning if we have items to be processed in the stack, we want to take them off the stack and process them. CSA Tech, thanks for subbing, man. So I think this will get us all of the... I think at this point we will get all of them. So the first thing will happen is we'll start with the current node, right, which will be 3, going off that picture. We'll come down here. Current won't be nil. Current won't be nil here. So we'll go down the left of the left. Oh, great. OBS just disconnected. We'll add all those to our stack. Then we'll take the very last one we added and we'll throw that to the channel here. Then we'll switch over and we'll process the right node. So current right at this point. Then we'll come back up to the top and we'll repeat. Yeah, I think this makes sense, but let's see if it prints all the numbers. Syntax error unexpected, expected. What have I done? $23.12. Do y'all see my error? For current does not equal nil. Oh, because I omitted. What? Expected expression? I think there's something wrong with my for loop here, isn't there? This should work, right? I should be able to just put a conditional there. Just like I have done down here, right? Your slice truncation is wrong. Should be stack. Oh, yep. Good catch, Gun. Okay, so I think... Okay, let's try that. Undefined in. Oh, yep, because that was in originally, and now it's last index. All right, cool. Look, we got all our numbers. That's basically... So this is the first step of the problem. We just need to get all the values to the channel. Yay! Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you, Gun. Where would I be without you? Elias, hello, Elias. How are you doing? Good to see you. Which database language do you prefer and why? I think SQL. I think I would say probably SQL. Well, I take that back. What database technology do I often prefer? I like SQLite a lot. I prefer, though, writing the Mongo query language to writing SQL statements, because Mongo query syntax feels much more like writing JavaScript or like a programming language, and SQL to me doesn't feel as much like a programming language. So like maybe if there was a way to have like those two worlds like collide, like let me use SQLite, but let me query it through let me interact with the database in language that looks more like the MongoDB query language. Yeah, I'd be all about that. But in all honesty, most of the time when I'm working with a database, I'm working with it through a programming language. Like I don't typically do a lot with like manually entering commands to the database in the work that I do, at least. So not 95% of the time, if I'm interacting with the database, it's through some sort of ORM, to be honest. I'm your debugging duck. Yeah, well, I think you're more than that because you're actually solving the problem. So I appreciate you. Gun, of course, MongoDB NoSQL query does feel like JavaScript. It's built upon Bison. Yeah, yeah. I just feel like it's. I feel like writing when I think about writing complex queries like directly on the database, I would rather write those complex queries in MongoDB than I would in SQL. Doesn't mean MongoDB is better than SQL. That's just a Steven preference, though. If I can get away with using SQLite, I just always prefer to get away with using SQLite. But if I need a distributed database, then I'll probably end up using Postgres or MongoDB or something of the like there. Kalamata. Is it important to adhere to standards like PEP 8 if I just code for solo projects? No, I don't think so. If you want to use, because PEP 8's a Python formatter, right? PEP 8 Python formatter. Oh, it's a formatter. I don't necessarily think so, Kalamata. I think it comes down a lot to what's the content, like why are you coding, right? So if you're writing code or building a project and it's purely for you and it's purely about you wanting to make something and then sell it to people or give it to people, and you don't really ever intend on having other people work on it with you, I don't really think there's any good reason to follow a particular format other than what is readable to you. If you're writing code, though, with the intention of your project one day having multiple developers, or if you're writing code as a way to practice working on a team with other developers, then you might consider getting comfortable with some of those, some of the common, what I want to say, common rules of the road of whatever language you're working in, you know? Like I was saying even earlier today, or not earlier today, earlier in this Go learning experience, like for me, because I come from the C sharp and the TypeScript world, I would love to put parentheses around these expressions or these statements, and I'd love to throw in some semicolons. Like I would probably write Go in a very different style if it was just me writing it. But if I'm trying to stick to like the language's conventions, because I might want to collaborate with other Go people or I might want to read other people's Go, then I think it's probably worth, at the very least, it's worth having knowledge, right, of PEP 8 in this case, or having knowledge of .NET format or editor configure, whatever thing you use to lint and format your code. It's probably good to have knowledge of those tools. But if it's for yourself, yeah, there's not really a great you have to do XYZ reason. Interesting SQL pronunciation. Never heard anybody pronounce it sequel, more like SQL. Oh, yeah, I've always said sequel, but I guess you could say SQL. I think I've heard people say both. I'm happy though to say whichever is correct. so if someone tells me one is more correct than the other, I will happily switch my pronunciation. AZ anything. Patterns are important for Gen AI. Oh yeah, this is I recognize AZ anything. AZ anything. You're the person in my YouTube shorts that was telling me my take on not wanting to be a prompt engineer was a bad career move, right? Kalamana, I get you, thanks. Also, any tips for beginners? I'm trying to learn as fast as I possibly since I have a deadline. I mean, my only advice for beginners would be you need to start and you need to stick with it, I think getting better at stuff is largely about um, getting reps, you know. But if you're trying to learn something really quick, I don't have good advice. Yeah. Patterns are important overall with programming. That goes with architectural. Yeah, but I feel like patterns. I feel like patterns are more important when it comes from the standpoint of working with other people. That's why I think that's an important context. Is like, if your project isn't going to be worked on with more than one developer outside of yourself, then none of that stuff really matters. But if you're talking about more than one human being working on it, or I guess even in like AZ anything's case, you have like an AI co-pilot working with you, then patterns do become important, because they're basic. Patterns are a way to make it easier for people to know where to look for things and to understand how things are wired together without being explicitly told, right? That's why like MVVM or MVC, what are some other good patterns? Like the classic big design patterns, like a singleton or a strategy or a decorator. That's why we have these terms, and these terms of art is so that we can speak to other people who are in our world, and they know what we're saying just by us saying those words, right? But if it's just you working on something, like, you do you, man. Yeah, that's me. Sorry if my comment read harshly. No, your comment didn't read harshly. No, I just remembered your name. You're 100% allowed to have your take on that. Yeah, I just stick with it, Kalamata. I don't have good advice for learning quickly. My only advice is stick with it, get lots of reps. My life advice for success looks like sustained effort over a very long period of time. Yeah. Yeah, more hours equals better program. Yep, exactly. More reps, more time with your fingers on the keyboard. Yeah. Gun. Anyways, let's go with the BST, Steven. Oh yeah. Yeah, we we keep getting distracted. Okay, so I think now at this point we have the hard part done. So we just have a simple algorithm here to walk over the tree, collect everything on the right, go down the tree, collect everything on the right, go back up the tree, collect everything on the right, go down the tree on the left, go back up the tree on the right, and collect it all, and then send it to the channel. Now what we need to do is we need to find out if the same trees are indeed the same, right? So I think what we want to do here is what they've shown up here, right? So this would return true, and this would return false. So we should have some way of calling same, and I think in same we should just call walk. I think same should call walk. So we should probably have yeah, we should probably have something like format.println, and we'll say, put a new line in there. Actually, let's put a new line. No, let's put a new line. So we'll say testing same, and we'll say this is identical. This is just so we have some sort of visual output, so we can verify if what I've done is actually correct. Also, I hate working in this browser thing. I want to go back to my editor. I should put this new line here. And then let's have also one for testing different. we'll say format.print line, and we just need to call same, and we need to pass in the trees. So we'll pass in tree.new1, and we'll pass in tree.new1, and so we'll expect this to print true, right? I'm missing a parentheses, and then we'll do that same thing down below, and we'd expect this to print false. So we'll just switch that to 2 because that's what they have up here. Should return false, should return true. Okay, now if we run this, so this is always going to work because I've just hard coded true here. But I think what we need to do is we actually need to I think what we actually need to do is we actually need to call walk inside of this function. And so I think the base case is we'll do return. And then what we'll do here is we'll say, we'll basically need to make some channels, won't we? We'll need to say, we need to do basically this 2 times, right? So we'll say channel 1, channel 2. And then we're basically going to fire off 2 Go routines, right? This is the whole point of learning Go, is we're going to fire off, or this is the whole point of the concurrency, right, of this thing, is we're going to fire off 2 Go routines. And those are just going to walk over the trees, and they're going to send the values back to their respective channel. And then same just needs to read the values off of those channels. So this would be go walk, this would be tree 1, and then go walk tree 2, and then we need to pass in their respective channels. Channel 1, like this, I think. Yeah, that should work, right? And then we need to read off the channels. So how do we read from 2 channels? Excuse me. How do we read from 2 channels? Well, channel 1 value, and then we can do is channel 1 open. I know I have very verbose variable names, okay, but I prefer to clearly understand what the thing is representing rather than having very terse variable names. So this is where we use our read operator, right? So we say, can I put a space? Yeah, I can put a space. So we can do channel 1. And then we'll basically do the same thing for channel 2. Just rename all these. I wonder if I really need 2 separate channels though. I guess I kind of do, because I need to know if you're coming from the first tree or the second tree. But I'm wondering if I could use 1 channel and then just use like a data structure to represent this value is from. Probably not, I guess, right? I think I'd have to like tag the tree or something. I'd have to pass something different in here, I think. I believe that it will work for both, but shouldn't you do that within a for statement? This part? Yes, because I want to just keep reading. So yeah, it should actually be, this should be like an infinite loop. This should be like a while true loop, which in Go just translates to for, right? So this should definitely be in a for loop. You are 100% right. And then I think what I'm going to do basically is I'm going to say, hey, if so basically I want like a default case to break out of the loop. So the default case is we've closed a channel. So if is channel if channel 1 open, I want to type is false. That's what I want to type, but I know that's not right. Equals false. Or if is channel 2 open equals false. I wish this didn't wrap lines. Can I put these on new lines like this? Can I do that? I'm just trying to what we need to do first, though, the other check we need to do first is we basically need to check if the values are the same. Right? So if channel 1 value does not equal channel 2 value, let's see, hold on, sorry guys, I fell behind. Default case, then if channel is 1 to open, you can use the select keyword and go for multiple channels, but I don't know if you have seen that yet. Yeah, they introduced the select keyword, but is that applicable here? I don't know if that's useful here, or at least I can't think of how I would use it. I think if either channel closes, I want to break. If either channel is closed, I want to break. I think what I need to check for up here is I need to check for if the values are equal, and then I also need to say, or I think what I need to do here is or if one channel's open and the other isn't, right? So if is channel 1 open does not equal is channel 2 open. I think this will work. Man, this is so ugly with everything like wrapped and with my long ass variable names. Everything looks terrible. So I think here is where I can return false, right? Because at this point now, we definitely don't have trees that are the same, right? If these values aren't open, or if one channel is still reading values and another isn't. All right, should we try this? Give us a go. See, identical is true, and testing same is different, false. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we did it. I think we did it. Good morning, Tigo. How are you? Watching your stream has made me inspired me to go back to the basics and learn programming fundamentals. Well, that's, I mean, I'm very happy I could be inspirational, and I appreciate you tuning into my content, and I appreciate it, man. Okay, so copy this, and let's just try one more case. Well, I guess I don't need to actually copy that. I just need to copy this line. So let's try maybe 4 and 5. Run. Yep, false, false. And then let's try one more case. I think I did it. Famous last words. There's probably some edge case that I have not taken care of in that code up there. And it will blow up in my face. True, true, false, false. Okay, cool. Man, I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. I mean, there's probably ways you could accomplish this without Go. Like, I'm not sure how much faster is this, right? If these two things don't actually happen on different threads, if they don't actually happen in parallel, there's not really much guarantee that this is necessarily faster. And none of this work is IO bound. This work is all happening. You know, there's no network calls, there's no database calls, right? So it's like you probably don't need a Go routine here, but it's kind of cool to see how you would use it. Cool. It's nice even if Go is ugly. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, Gun. Have a good day, man. See you later. All right. To the next topic. All right, so now we're learning about synchronization across Go routines. I think is what we're learning about next. We've seen how channels are great for communication among Go routines, but what if we don't need communication? What if we just want to make sure only one Go routine can access a variable at a time to avoid conflict? So in C#, this is like a lock, right? This is or a semaphore slim if you're in an asynchronous context. This concept is called mutual exclusion, and the conventional name for the data structure that provides it is a mutex. Go's standard library provides mutual exclusion with sync.mutex in its two methods, lock and unlock. We can define a block of code to be executed in a mutual exclusion by surrounding it with a call to lock and unlock as shown on the inc method. We can also use defer to ensure the mutex will be unlocked as in the value method. Okay, so this is our safe counter. So this is our value. This is the value of our counter. And then, so does the lowercase field in a type in Go, does that mean it can't be accessed from outside the... Well, I guess not. So does Go have the idea of like private fields? A struct field is considered unexported private if its name starts with a lowercase. Okay, I didn't realize that applied to the fields. I thought that just applied to the members of a package. What? This says exported public, but I think Gemini made a mistake here, huh? Because these are both lowercase. Yeah, starting with the lowercase. Okay. Well, that's confused. Gemini's answer was confusing because, or Google's answer was confusing because I guess this should be capitalized if it's actually public. So value returns the current value of the counter for the given key. Easy enough. So we're saying, hey, lock. So when you read from the value, we're basically saying lock and then unlock. Whenever somebody, I wonder why though. I feel like with reading, well, maybe you should lock when you read. You definitely should lock if you're writing like this. How come we're running this in a Go routine though? Oh, to simulate multiple things trying to access it. So we're gonna start 1,000 Go routines that are all gonna compete to increment this counter. Nice. And it should be deterministic if it's actually properly implemented, right? So if we remove the lock, if we remove the call to lock, I'm guessing we get some weird behavior. Concurrent map. There we go. All right, there we go. We broke it. I'm so proud of myself. Who wants to read a half-written value? This is true. You make a good point. You make a good point. Just some random fan. Hello, it's my first time here, and I find it a bit ironic that the YouTube algorithm brought me here of all places. However, I'm enjoying the stream so far. Well, just some random fan. Thanks for landing on my stream. I feel like the YouTube Shorts algorithm uh, does drop the ball at times. Alright, in this exercise, you'll use Go's concurrency features to parallelize a web crawler. Modify the crawl function to fetch URLs in parallel without fetching the same URL twice. Hint, you can keep a cache of the URLs that have been fetched on a map, but maps alone are not safe for concurrent use, right? So this is the idea that we basically just implemented in the last thing. So instead of having a map string of int, we're going to have a map we're basically going to have a map, what am I trying to say? We're going to have a map of string to string, right? But this is going to be a URL, and then we also need a mutex to lock and unlock when we modify the map or read from the map. Fetch returns the body of URL and a slice of URLs found on that page, okay? Crawl uses fetcher to recursively crawl pages starting with URL to a maximum depth. Fetch URLs in parallel. Don't fetch the same URL twice. This implementation doesn't do either. Okay. Where's the fetch function at? Here's the fetch. So what is F? F is fake fetcher. So I'm not actually making real requests here. Is basically what I'm getting at. Like they've provided me with this test data, and this is what I need to program against. Okay. Where does this fetcher come from? In the main function, so they have crawl, they pass in this URL, they're setting a maximum depth of 4, and then where does this guy come from? Is that something I need to implement? Of course, I appreciate the kind welcome. Yeah, for sure, man. So, would I be correct in assuming that you were doing some programming? Yes. Yep. Wilo Gamer said no, he's writing a book. Nope, I'm actually I'm trying to learn a new programming language. Just some random fan. So I typically write C# and TypeScript, and I decided I wanted to try to learn Go for Advent of Code. Advent of Code is like this programming challenge that happens in December, where you basically solve problems. You solve like a problem a day for 24 days in the month of December. And I decided I wanted to learn Golang for that. So that's what I'm currently doing. I'm just kind of stumped at the moment because I don't understand. I don't understand where this comes from. So you have your type interface here, okay? Then you have your crawl, right? But then all of a sudden, main just has a fetcher. Like it just, boom, it's just there. So where does this guy come from? Oh, here. So this gets hoisted. I didn't know that. They haven't talked about that. Go hoisting. I didn't know Go supports that. Does Go hoist variables? No, Go does not have the same concept of hoisting as JavaScript. Well, then how does this variable here get used by the main function up here? Because it's not in the same scope. That seems odd. That seems like it shouldn't work. All jokes aside, this is pretty cool. Sounds interesting because I could definitely use some pointers there. Yeah, no worries. I think it's interesting, you know? I mean, we've all got our thing, right? Actually, hold on. I'm gonna pause for a sec before I dive into this actually fixing their implementation. I'm going to go refill my coffee cup, and then I'll come back and we'll try to do the rest of the web crawler. This is actually the last exercise in Tour of Go, I think. And then we get to move on to learning Go with Tess. Yeah, this is the final exercise. So we'll see if we can't finish this before the end of the stream. But I need more coffee before we do that. So I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee, and then I will be right back. And no worries, like if you need to go, definitely live your life. Don't worry about me. I don't expect any of you to stare at an empty chair for multiple minutes. But if you want to stick around, I appreciate it. Be right back. Went to get coffee. I do, though, every time I put this message up, I do think to myself, I wonder if there's any human beings in the world who scroll past my stream every morning or every day and they just see that I'm getting coffee. Then we'll make this a little bigger. Then we'll control or Alt Control Shift. Bring that up. ESO fill. It's a global variable. Those are not ordered, I think. I'm so glad this ESFONL. I don't know how to say your username, but I'm so glad that you've been hanging out in my streams since I started learning Go, because you've been a godsend at explaining confusing things to me. So you're saying because fetcher is in the global space, the top to bottom type of thing doesn't matter. Main can reference fetcher because it's in the global space. You're all good. Hope you enjoy your... Yeah, I'll be right back. It'll take 2 seconds. It won't really take 2 seconds, but I'll be right back. I'm back. Minecraft Wolfie showed up. What's up, Minecraft Wolfie? Chander Sharon, hello. New here. Good to see you. Java program? No, we're doing Go programming is what we're trying to learn. Welcome back. Nah, welcome back. Thank you, thank you. It was a long journey. It was a rough road. I had to fight for every inch of it. But I made it. Alright, so what do we need to do? What we need to do is fetch returns the body of URL and a slice of URLs found on that page. Okay, we can remove that comment. I don't need it. Crawl uses fetcher to recursively crawl pages starting with URL to a maximum depth. Great. Get rid of that guy. We want to fetch URLs in parallel. Don't fetch the same URL twice. This implementation doesn't do either. Great. So they let me do all the work. All right, so first things first, how do we fetch in parallel? Well, I guess we could just say body URLs air. Could we just kick off a Go routine that crawls here? Right? Like, could we just do this? Does anyone have experience with Fiverr? No, I do not. So what happens if we do this? Found Go. So we have duplicated founds, right? So this would be what we don't want to duplicate. First of all, I hate the fact that they're using recursion. What exactly do you want to be able to program in Go? Not really anything in particular. I just want to be able to use it to solve problems. So I'm going to do this event called Advent of Code. And if you're not sure what Advent of Code is, here's the about page of Advent of Code that you can read. But essentially, it's like leak code style problems. For the first 24 days of December, you get a problem every day, but it's kind of Christmas themed. Yeah, it's like Christmas themed, and every day that you solve the problem, it advances the story. It's fun. The last 2 years I've done it in C#, and I just want to do it with a different language, just for fun. Mr. Exploit, parallel mean multi-threads. Yes, but if I understand Go's concurrency model, just because you use a Go routine doesn't actually mean it runs in parallel. So the fact that they're saying fetch URLs in parallel, what they're really saying is use a Go routine to fetch the URLs is what they're saying. Yeah, that's what they're saying. I thought C# was only for Unity. Oh no, no. C#, C# definitely predates Unity. Yeah, I don't know why Unity picked C#. Let's see. Why did Unity pick C#? I'm not sure why it did, but no, I mean C#'s been around for a while now. It's simply what C# is. It's popular, fast, easy to use. Yeah, I don't know why they picked it, but yeah, C#. So Oh, that's hilarious. there's a whole under the programmer humor section. There's all C# is only for Unity. That's funny. No, you can use C# to build web apps. You can use C# to build CLI tools. There's a database that's implemented in C# called RavenDB. You can do it all kinds of stuff. I've actually never used C# in Unity. I've never built anything with Unity. All right, I think I'm gonna completely change what we're doing here. Where does the not found get printed? Oh, I guess it gets printed here. So if fetch can't find the URL, it's unhappy. Okay, this is what I think I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna implement something like the safe counter. Yeah, I think I'm gonna implement something like this. So I'm just gonna copy this. And we're gonna bring this over to our main function. I don't really need to worry about any of this. This is not relevant to what I'm doing. I'm gonna paste that here. Let's get rid of these. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And let's call this safe safe URL collection, maybe URL list, safe URL list. And then the value is actually going to be, instead of a map of string to string, what am I supposed to be returning? Modify the crawl function to fetch URLs. So I just need a list of URLs. That's all at the end of the day I want to return. So this at the end of the day can just be a slice of strings. All right, I think that's all that needs to be. And then instead of a safe counter, we'll have a safe URL list like this. Change that to L, change that to L. We will say add, and we'll call this has. This will return a boolean. A bool. This will return a bool. So for web applications, I use JavaScript, TypeScript, and for CLI, I use Python. Nice, very cool. I think that sounds great. I use TypeScript and JavaScript mainly for front ends. I use C# for anything I do really on the back end, on the server side. I use C# for CLIs. Yeah. I basically try to I mean, C# my favorite language, so I try to write that if I can, and if I can't, that usually means I'm in some sort of context where it's necessary to work with JavaScript/TypeScript. Metal, why making so complex? Make it simple, use only one struct. Well, I guess I am only using one struct, right? I'm just using this one. All the other ones they gave me. Yeah, all of this stuff was stuff that they predefined as part of this tutorial. I'm just defining this so that I can add things and remove things without having to worry about always calling lock and unlock in other code. Mute my X. Yes, mute the X. And then all this code is wrong now. So basically, instead of this, we need to say L.mu, and then we say L. Hey, Butterscotch, what's up, man? On L lock, and then L unlock, and instead of well, this is a good question. How do I find out if my list has... Maybe I should use a map. Nokia, it's so fun when you change the signature for something and all of a sudden you have 99 plus errors across 25 files. Yeah, that's why static types are really nice, is because IDE, when you have static types, your developer tools can help you do refactors like that much more succinctly, right? It's like you can rename types, refactor methods, and the developer tools you work with can actually resolve all those references. Just some random fan. I'm genuinely curious, how does one become good at programming/coding? As I'm currently studying it, but I'm having trouble grasping it. I would appreciate any insight anyone has. The struggle is very real for me. I think the key is... What's the key? I think the key is to get spending a lot of time with your fingers on the keyboard. I think that's the key. It's lots and lots of reps, in my opinion. It obviously helps if you have some sort of a structured curriculum. Like if you're not familiar with it, there's an organization called Free Code Camp. That's really good. It presents a really structured, well laid out curriculum, kind of a path for you to follow. But they do a good job making it based around projects and kind of helping to force you away from getting stuck in tutorial hell. But in my eyes, getting good at something in life largely comes down to practice, getting reps. Metal 007, where do you work and what architecture do you follow in your office in backend? I feel like I'm being interviewed. Metal. So you if you're curious, you can just go to my LinkedIn. You can go to linkedin.stephenfreeborn.com. I'm pretty much an open book on that stuff. linkedin.stephenfreeborn.com. I don't work as a developer, so I work as a quality engineer. So I do mostly manual and automated testing for a SaaS platform for a web application. It's basically like if you're familiar with Salesforce or ServiceNow. We basically make a platform like that, and I work on our quality team. And then in my free time, I like to make content around writing code. As far as architecture, do we follow in my office? I'm not going to talk about what things the development team at my work does or doesn't do. You know, these are two separate worlds. So yeah, I'm happy to talk in generals, but I'm not going to talk in specifics. Like I can tell you that like where I work, we're a .NET shop. We use .NET. We're still on .NET framework. We follow kind of an MVC pattern, but I'm not going to get into like any deep specific architecture of our products or our platform, because this is not sanctioned, nor do my thoughts or opinions here represent my employer. So consistency and a lot of practice. Got it. Yes. Anything in life comes down to sustained effort over a long period of time. You want to get wealthy, you got to work for a long time. You got to be disciplined, spend less than you make, and invest the difference. You want to be good at programming, you got to spend a lot of time building stuff. You want to be great at hitting a baseball, you got to go hit a lot of baseballs. Like it just comes down to that. Metal, what is your opinion for integration testing? Why unit tests look like waste of time? Yeah, testing is not a waste of time, but I know a lot of developers feel that way. I think a lot of developers feel that way because they either begin writing tests way too early in their implementation, or they don't know how to write code that's easy to test. So then writing tests becomes this massive, huge chore that nobody wants to do because their code is written in a really, really painful way that makes it very difficult to test. I think that's largely what it comes down to is developers can be very lazy. I just don't want to do the work. Or developers are not being lazy, is they just don't know how to author code in a way that makes it easy to test. Which is still a little bit of a form of like laziness because you're like, oh, this is too hard, I don't want to do it. Now there are ways to make things easier to test. But yeah, I mean, if you use, like in C#, if you practice dependency injection and you program against an interface or use abstract classes that allow you to mock implementation out at runtime, those two things will get you to a place where things are pretty trivial to test. Whether you want to do a unit test or an integration test is not super, super difficult. But if you're one of those people who likes to wire up a bunch of static API calls all throughout your code base, yeah, then things are a pain in the ass, for sure. I see. Well, then I have a lot of work cut out for me as I need to step up my game. Yeah, I mean, I guess step up your game as much as you want to, right? I mean, it's your life. You get to decide what it's going to be, how you want to live it. No one says you have to spend all your time trying to be a good programmer. How to test things, you push to prod. Well, you should test in production. You just shouldn't test first in production. All right, I've walked back my thought here on the list. I'm going to use a map because I don't want to have to loop over the list to find if something is in the list or not. So we're going to do this. We're going to copy and paste again. And we're going to change all of this. And what are we going to do? We're going to do safe. Well, let's just actually, I mean, we can basically just leave this exactly how it's written. We can do safe URL counter. Like that. And then we'll say not include, but let's say add, and then let's say has here. And then what we'll do is we'll say when we add it, we don't want to do this. We want to basically say v and then is present. So we're basically testing, right? So we're saying, oh, I should also change this to c dot b key. Or in this case, this will be, I'm trying to reuse the counter, but I want to actually make it properly. I want to make the things properly named. So I'll say, we'll add it. Okay, so if is present, what, we don't need parentheses. that's the .NET developer in me coming out. We'll say if it is present, then we'll just increment the value. So if it is present, then we'll do this. Yes, but not key. This needs to be URL. Otherwise, we'll just initialize it. I'm not a big fan of if else, but who cares? We'll do c.v URL, and we'll set that equal to 1. And then down here, we'll say if it has the URL, so if the URL is present, well, I don't want to return int. I want to return bool. And then we can do is present equals c.v URL. Yeah. Then we need to change the name of all these things. I keep wanting to save the file, but there's nothing to save. Also, why not use defer in both places, right? I feel like probably should have a convention like that. Mainly the issue for me is remembering the commands and coding rules. Do you memorize them or have shortcuts written? No, you don't really memorize them. You practice them so much they kind of become stuck in your fingers, if that makes sense. Abstract factory builder. OOP is cool. Nobody can change my mind. Let's see. I missed a couple messages. Hi, bro. Can you accept me requests on Discord? Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, sorry. I usually keep Discord up while I'm streaming, but I forgot to open it this morning. Yeah, and for anybody else who wants to, we do have a Discord for the channel. It's called, you can just go to discord.stephenfreeborn.com, and that'll redirect you to the invite link. Let me approve. Oh, there's 2 people in here. Nice. Two new Discord members. Awesome. Oh, we have another member. Oh, Noku's joining. Nice. Noku, good to have you in the Discord. And if you are a member, the other thing I should tell you, if you are a member of my channel and you do join the Discord, if you make sure that your YouTube account and your Discord account are linked, then you get access to a members only channel in the Discord, which isn't very lively at the moment because there's only how many? There's only 8 of us, 10 of us in that members channel, but you know, we're making progress. We're growing. All right, now that we have our safe URL counter, how can we use it? Well, we can basically use it the same way they used it over here. We can create a new one. And we'll pass that in. Yes, but this should be fine, but this should be safe URL counter. Oh, we have another member. Dang. Members galore coming into the Discord. Thanks, guys, for joining the Discord. Appreciate you. Instead of is present, use OK, where OK should is checked in accordance to being true and handle according to it. Which OK, comma, syntax. Well, yeah, but OK is just the name. Like, right? When you check, it's just returning a Boolean and whatever value was present, right? And so you can name this whatever you want. It doesn't have to be OK. I think OK is what you see in a lot of people's code, but you can name this variable whatever you want. And I feel like this is much more clear to what this Boolean value represents, right? This Boolean value is telling you, is the value in that map or is the value not? So maybe I'm breaking with Go conventions, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so we have our map. So we have our counter, which is not really what they were looking for, but it's going to accomplish the same thing. We're going to end up with a unique set of URLs. Is basically what we're going to end up with. And then we need to modify our crawl to accept this. So let's modify this to accept. I guess it needs to accept a pointer, right? So C. And then now crawl needs to accept a. I think I want to use a pointer. So I need to accept a safe URL counter. I think that's what I need to do. And I think I actually need to probably move this definition up. Oh my gosh, my mouse is freaking out. I'll put that up here. All right, I'm just gonna run this again just so I can see if I broke anything. Unexpected name C in parameter list. Oh, that's because I tried to type it like you do in C#, and it should be the other way. It should be C and then that. Hacking into coding. Thanks for subscribing, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the sub. Let's see. Undefined sync, declared, not used V, undefined is present, undefined is present. Not enough arguments in call to crawl. Yep. I need to pass down C. I need to undefined is present. Okay. Did I do something wrong? Yep. Need that. What else? What other errors were there? I guess there's 2 undefined is present. Declared and not used V. try to run again. Undefined sync cannot use C as safe URL value in argument to crawl. Is that because I don't have a pointer to it? Oh. How do I do this again? Do I do a star syntax or do I do an and syntax? And is how I get a pointer, right? And then undefined sync. Where's sync at? Sync, sync, sync. Oh, we need to import that. We have to bring in our sync package. Cool. Okay, so it still works. So now instead of printing, I basically just want to put the URLs into the map. So I think the first thing I want to do is I just want to say already found equals C dot has URL, and if already found, so I cannot stop adding parentheses in places where I shouldn't add them. We're going to return. Okay means present in our map to simplify large code base convention. Well, that's totally fine. You can for sure use okay if you want in your code base. But for the purposes of what I'm doing, I'm going to use is present. Type and variable switch. I think you said that when I was talking about something and then I missed what that was about. Butterscotch, what are you building, by the way? We're basically doing an exercise where we have to use concurrency and our knowledge of a mutex to fetch all the unique URLs in parallel from this tutorial that they've given us. So we're not really building anything. I'm just trying to finish. This is the last lesson in Tour of Go, and I'm just trying to finish it. See you, just some random fan. Have a good day. Have fun in class. Okay, if already found, we'll return. Otherwise, I guess otherwise we will. What is the body? Oh, the body is just this. So I don't really think I care about the body. I think all I want to do is I just want to say c.add u before I recursively call. And then well, hold on. Let's go back up here. Let's copy this line. Put that there. Then we'll remove this. And we'll say c.add u. And then here we can range over. I just want to basically see if we did collect things in the map, right? So we'll say I is range over c dot v. And then I just want to print that. We don't need that anymore. Need that. We're still not working in parallel yet, but declare to not use body. Where is that at? 50, line 50. Body. Yeah, I guess we don't need that anymore. Okay, looks like we only found 2, so we're not finding, we're missing some packages, basically. If I remove the if already found, I think there's something wrong with our already found check, huh? We need to comment this out. I honestly don't know if we're going to finish this before I have to end the stream, but I'm not trying to ignore you, chat. I'm trying to focus. Okay, so now we're getting all of them. Org command. Oh, we don't really need the has check because our add method takes care of that, doesn't it? We don't really need this because the map already builds a unique list. So we don't really need to do a has found check. So if we remove this, that's redundant. And we can run this again. So we have a unique list. The not found is coming. The not found, where's that getting printed at? Here. I don't really care. I don't need to print this. I just need to get the list of URLs. Well, this can become a discard too. Should have 5 unique URLs. We have this one, we have package, we have OS, and we have format. Those are all the unique URLs. And then, of course, the top level. Cool. And then now it says it wants us to do it in parallel. So I think I could just run crawl recursively in GoRoutine, and this would do it in... Yeah, I still get the same results. Because I have a safe counter that safely mutates this thing, even when we're working across. So can I do this? I don't know, can you call a Go routine from other Go routines? Ah, but you obviously have to be able to communicate back to the calling thread. So I think if I was going to do this, right, I need a channel, right, to communicate from the one Go routine back to this Go routine. Oh. Uh-oh. That's only 4 results. We should have 5, shouldn't we? Oh, now we're only getting 3. Now we have all... Uh-oh, okay, so I've got a bug somewhere. I've got a bug somewhere. Where are you getting questions for practice? Oh, this is all just coming from Tour of Go. This is part of the Go documentation, Manish. If you go to, I think it's go.dev/tour is where we're getting the documentation from. Here you go, Manish. I'll hook you up with this. This is what I'm doing. My manager boomed me to maintain the Jira task for company. I said, you can give review to senior, but they said, how company will see your task. Huh. I'm not sure I totally understand what you're saying, Metal, but if that's not sitting well with you, I apologize. Sometimes working with managers are kind of a pain in the ass. Okay, the question is, why do I get variable results? I don't really know why. So there's 5. But there's 3. So how come I got 3? Alexander, thanks for subbing. I'm guessing there's, I mean, I'm locking, right? So is this, can I not do this? Like if I lock here. Nope. See, there's some sort of race condition. I think I do need to, I do think I need a has check, don't I? Yeah, I do think I need a has check. Let's bring that back. Let's still not print this. Let's still make that return. Okay. Well, now it's working every time. But I'm pretty sure there must be some sort of race condition in here. I'm trying to get it to break again. It's not breaking. I'm not crazy, am I? Like it did break. Huh. Hmm. And I could have sworn there was times where it gave me incomplete results. But that doesn't seem to be happening. Well, in any event, we've implemented our web crawler. Okay, where to go from here? You can get started by installing Go. Okay, I already have Go installed, right? Yeah, I already have Go installed. Go dash dash version. Oh. Go version. Yeah, I have version 1.253. Is that the latest? Anybody know? Is that the latest? Yeah, I'm getting ready. I need to hop off actually. It's 7 o'clock. I was trying to finish that last exercise because that was the final exercise in the tour of Go. But I'm gonna hop off and go upstairs. It's 1.25. Okay, so I have the latest version, so that's good. To learn how to organize and work with Go code, read How to Write Go Code. If you need help with the standard library, see the package reference. For help with the language itself, find the language spec. Watch Go concurrency patterns. Wow, there's a lot here. Writing web applications tutorial. I think what we're going to do next is we're going to do this. Learn Go with tests is what we're going to do next. But there's obviously a ton of resources we could. I'm kind of interested in the Go concurrency patterns. Oh, this is old, but I'm guessing it's still relevant if it's on the doc site. I'm going to put this on the watch later playlist. All right, well, that is the very exciting completion, very anticlimactic completion of Tour of Go. So we've marked that one out. Let's see, let's make it green maybe? I guess green's good, but let's make it red. Boom, done. All right, now we're gonna go on to tour, or we're gonna go on to learn Go with tests is what we're going to go on to next. Why learn Go with tests? Primarily because somebody recommended it to me, and I think it's important to know how to write tests. So this should give me, this should kill two birds with one stone is what I'm hoping, is that I'll get to learn more about Go, but I'll also get to learn how to use how to actually write tests in Go too. All right, this is what we're going to come back to tomorrow morning. What did I miss in chat here? Not much, huh? LOL, concurrency hit you hard? It didn't hit me hard. It's just I want to understand how the Go concurrency model works because I don't really understand how they think about parallelism versus concurrency. If a Go routine isn't guaranteed to run on an actual other thread, like if Go routines don't always run at the same time, how is it actually achieve parallelism, right? Because in C# we have a concurrency model, but we also have a parallelism model, and so when you ask for something to be parallel, it's parallel. When you ask for something to be a task, like, you know, go fetch this or go fetch that, well then that's concurrency. Like you don't know what thread, you don't know if it's the same thread or different thread, but threads will switch back and forth, but there's no guarantee that you're actually going to get work in parallel. So yeah, it's not it hit me hard. I just want to understand it better, you know. I just want to hear more people that are from the Go community talk about concurrency more. Yeah, man, we finished the tour. We did it. We did it. All right, guys, I'm gonna run upstairs and say good morning to my family and get more coffee and all that good stuff. Let's do our customary wrap up. So obviously, if you want to hang out with me or chat with me or chat with anybody from chat outside of the stream, you can go to discord.stephenfreeborn.com. That's the best place to find us away from stream. Even Pablo hangs out there occasionally. But my stream schedule, I guess I don't need to type that in there, do I? I can just do !Discord and Stream Elements will take care of it for me. As far as schedule goes, my schedule is typically 4:15 in the morning till about 7 in the morning Central Standard Time. So Stream Elements will also hook us up with the schedule there in chat if you're curious. So if you see me live during those times, please stop in. Would love to hear from you, even if it's just to say hi. What else? Schedule, Discord. Stream content is largely going to be around Go for the next month or two. We're going to try to learn Go a lot in November. Then we're going to try to use Go a lot in December. And then I'm sure in between there will be some .NET and some TypeScript stuff mixed in as a palette cleanser from time to time. But that's going to be the focus for a little while. Yeah, that's it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, keeping me company, chatting with me, keeping me honest, trying to learn Go, fixing my mistakes, explaining things to me that I'm too dumb to understand. But yeah, with that, I'll leave you guys. All right. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. If it's Tuesday for you, I hope you have a great Wednesday. If it's already Wednesday for you, because time zones are weird. If I don't see you tomorrow morning, I hope you have a great rest of your week. And maybe I'll see you maybe in the comments of a short or a video. That'd be great. Drop a comment. I will always try to reply. All right, chat. Bye, Pablo. Bye, Our Work Studios. Who else is here? Manish, if you're still here. Bye, Manish. Metal 0007, if you're here. See ya. Butterscotch. Bye. ESFONL. See ya. All right, guys. Bye, chat. Bye. See you guys. Have a good day.